All right, we're here with a bit of a legend of OFLM, playing longer than I have.
Right.
Welcome to the podcast, Mike Bonard.
Hello, Dan. Thanks for that intro. Sort of killing me with kindness a bit there.
Well, you know what I'm like. I'm just the kindest man in the world,
Yeah,
according to
well,
my.
you are the leader of the Nice Guy Brigade, I believe, in OFLM.
Absolutely. Remember the nice guy brigade? Brannon loves that.
He
But
does, yes.
here we are. We're here again. Podcast today with Mike, current leader of Division 1, 49 points. I think he's 3 points ahead of the Incredibles at this stage of the season.
1 point, 1 point.
Is it 1 point now?
Yep.
Can you do it, Mike? Can you do it?
Um, yeah, I think so. We got the Incredibles this week. Edmonds has been slightly unreliable lately. Otherwise, he would have had it won by now. But I think we can beat them this week and go on and win it.
Yeah, well, your team has taken shape in the last couple of years, well, the last couple of seasons even.
Yeah,
And
it started off as just a youth project, pretty similar to pretty much what everyone else does now, and it's coming into its prime in the next couple of seasons.
see, like I was when I first joined back, I think it was in 2009. I think you've been playing for quite a bit longer than that, and it seemed to me like you were kind of one of the first kind of people to be pioneering that youth academy setup especially with the goalkeepers.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it was me and Milo. Make sure I get that right. Milo, who first started off, pretty much did it at the same time. I made Duncan Bonard, and that gave me a big advantage. Got lots of offers. As soon as he hit 40, just basically win games without having to do much because he'd save everything.
the absolute wall of Duncan Bonard,
Yeah,
the frustrating wall. I used to call him. Me and Chris Conway used to frustrate ourselves over the big Duncan Bonard. We'll come back onto Duncan Bonard in a little bit, but I think it's be quite interesting to see how you actually came about finding OFLM to start with.
I only knew from it. The only person I knew before I came to it, was Gwill from AC Valladolid. If that's how
Wow.
you say it. Played a different game. I think it might have actually been him that posted on that game's forums, try this game out, and off I came.
Yeah, nice one. I mean, Gwilym, I've never sort of spoken to him outside of OFLM or anything like that, but again, he's another manager that's kind of seems to have been at Valladolid for absolute years, really, and I think he trains goalkeepers as well. So yeah, he's another one that I could see investing in goalkeepers and slowly but surely getting himself up the divisions. But yeah, um, have you always been at Mostly Harmless then?
Yeah, since the beginning. I think it was like 2005, so about 10 years.
Wow. So that's like a one club manager. When you first took them over, what division were they in?
They were right at the bottom of Division 3.
So it literally was a case of coming in,
Build it up.
build it up from the ground, and was it always the plan straight from the go to start your
No, not
academy?
really. No, I think pretty much the first season and a half, I didn't really know what I was doing. Just sort of randomly bought players, sold off a couple of my best players. It's when you're a new guy, obviously coming in, you can be picked off quite easily by some of the more experienced people. So you have to be quite careful.
Yeah. Did you take any bullets?
Any bullets?
Yeah. Any players that you let go which you regret?
Oh, plenty. I think Carodas was one. I let Scarlacci go, who's I think is still at.
Derek Scalacci's at Cornish Revolution. He's
Yeah,
currently on the forum looking to be sold because he's over the age of 30.
yeah,
Chris
yeah. He's got the
Conway does
same.
not like old players.
No, he got the same theory as me. As soon as they get that sort of age, it's like the opposite to you, whereas you just like to get all the experience, all the old players,
Old gold.
the old gold.
Don't worry
Yes.
about that. There's always old gold, but then underneath there's always shiny new young players to choose from.
I
Not
mean, you
letting
say
us.
that there's some of them there. As I said to you before, I'm sure you're just hanging out at the old people's home, picking off people, seeing if they can finish one more season.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fake
right.
for you.
That's right. You know, those old players, I tell you what, the experience that they bring to the tower. Yeah, those Division One. That's why they've run out of gas this season. I think it's got to a stage now where there's just too many old players, and they're just not able to
I mean,
catch up with you boys. But
Yeah, I'm looking at your team now. You're pretty much one of the best, if not the best team in it. Looking at this, I didn't realise how good they all still were. They're all pretty much 40 or 39.
Yeah,
Do you think?
unfortunately, we have a tendency to shoot ourselves in the foot with injuries, suspensions, and general bad luck. I mean, last week or the week before, I was pretty sure I did training, and after the game finished and I lost to, I can't even remember who it is now, I realised that fitness hadn't been done. And that kind of shot myself in the foot for the cup game, which I lost to AC Koulios, Sam Brown. And then this week, oh, don't even get me started on the Anfield Ducks. I'm losing them 1-0 away from home, having dominated with a code. It's just one of them where you just kind of say, well, not going to be to the season, unfortunately. So, yeah, it
How,
looks like we're out of it now.
you reckon you're out of it? I think you still got a good chance. Obviously, I'll lose a couple. Edmonds might not submit. Milo probably will be the one to watch out for that I really worry about.
Yeah, he's there and thereabouts. He's not that far behind you at the minute. I'm just kind of expecting that charge that comes the last few weeks of the season. I think we've all got. I've got to play yourself and Milo still.
Yeah.
So I'm in with a squeak at this stage, only a squeak. I think if you can get those results you need against Milo and Rich this week, I think that's a key one. This week's going to be the making of you really, or breaking. So.
He's had the better of me this season. I think he had to be something like 8-3 and 3-0 so far. So it's not been so great for me.
He's gone about Rich Edmonds. He's gone about his business this season in a very sort of astute way, very under the radar. And all of a sudden now it's kind of coming to fruition. Some of the players that kind of older players that he's got have had a few good weeks, and all of a sudden now they're AB gains, and it's looking like a team with the secondary stats that could really sort of see him home. Really, so yeah. It's all to play for still. It's going to be interesting.
Well, the thing with Rich, obviously, you say he keeps under the radar. That probably doesn't help him too much because it always makes me laugh when Mark Griffiths comes in. Whenever the season ends, it's been the worst season for Incredibles. He comes around the corner, just gets a little knife in the back there.
That's right, yeah.
It never would have happened under me, that sort of thing.
Brilliant.
So it's like having, like Fergie sitting in the stands after he left Man United, just watching over you.
He's on hiding to nothing there, to be honest. I mean,
yeah.
Whoever took that job after Mark,
yeah,
it was always going to be the case.
Yeah, because everyone was catching them up, and it wasn't ever going to be as good as it was.
No. I just wanted to sort of, while we're on that with the Incredibles there, like the sort of issue with the academies, like, there's a lot of academies now that are doing the goalkeepers on a major scale, kind of following off yours and Milo's lead. I mean, what do you think about that in general in terms of the long-term emphasis or that might have on the actual game itself?
Well, eventually everyone's going to have 40 rated players, aren't they? That's all that's going to happen. I look at the Incredibles, their academies where mine was a couple of seasons ago, got like 20 odd, over 20 players in there. I think what I'm going to do, obviously, when my keeper trainer retires, is give up the goalkeeper, want to move on to something else. Because there's got to be no room for goalkeepers. It's pretty much flooded already. It's finding it difficult to trade the ones I have out.
Yeah, I guess it gets to a stage where you've got the teams in Division 1 and 2, like, the ones that can actually afford the goalkeepers, because, I mean, they are quality goalkeepers that you've got, the ones that are left. And you're trying to trade them off for, defenders, midfielders, like you have been doing. And I noticed that within the season, last season especially, there was a lot of movement. Some goalkeepers ended up going out. There was one to Aero Galaxy, one to myself, and then they all going out, and you're getting things in return, which I think is definitely the way to go with it. Yeah,
well, I don't want to. As my team hits the peak, there needs to be like another level coming through, another age group coming through, as similar to what you've got, but yours is a sort of a bigger gap.
Yeah, that's
between
right.
the ages, so it might take a little bit longer because nobody wants to end up like Olympic Milan, do they?
Everyone always says about the Olympic Milan. Every interview that I listen to, it's Olympic Milan this and Olympic Milan that, but somehow Rich Gubby keeps it up. He
still
going.
Does. You're right. I think he's got a massive pot of gold where he just buys another raft of overaged but high quality players every season.
Oh yeah, he's always able to get that result at some point in the season, which always gives you that. Oh, how have we managed to scrape by another win there? But he's 6-2-1-1-D or the long ball tactic, and that's
yeah, he doesn't care, does he?
He doesn't care. He gets the job done.
OFLM, really.
Sorry.
He's the Tony Pulis of OFLM.
Yes, he is at the minute. But
I
yeah,
think he'll
those
go
old
down this season, though.
they are at the moment. Yeah, they're in the relegation zone at the moment. But you just never know with Rich, do you? You never know where
No.
he can pull it out.
Yeah.
Been there to the top of a mountain on several occasions. He knows what he's doing, and yeah, he's kept the OFLM. He's kept OFLM alive at times when it looked like it was all going to end for us. So
Yeah.
fair play.
Yeah.
Who would begrudge him another season in Division One
No,
playing
just give him
6-2,
another 10
1-1
points for
long?
free. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so going back to Mostly Harmless then, and obviously over your very long career with them, what's got to be your sort of favourite players that you've had?
Well, being slightly narcissistic, obviously the ones that have got the same name as me are the most popular.
Oh, big Duncan Bonard.
Yeah, he's still always still look how he's doing. Luke's team, and there's obviously Mike Bonard.
That's right.
Apart from that, I don't know how you pronounce it, and they probably never do, but Ed Shahan or Sehan or
Kayan.
something like.
Or Shahan, yeah.
He's obviously spent a lot of time there, scored a lot of goals.
Appearance holder and record goal scorer.
Yeah, all-time record goal scorer.
Yes, and always seems to bang them in. And when you're in that long period in Division 2 where it was just every week it seemed to be scoring for you.
Yeah, when he got 60 in one season, I think.
Yeah. And then you've got big Duncan Bonard, who I cannot believe you sold.
Well, yeah, so I had so many keepers coming through that if I trade now, I'd get that big name defender, which I did.
You did. I just couldn't believe you'd let Big Dunk go, the legend.
I think you were more gutted than me.
I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. But obviously, it worked out for you. It's like the player as Isaac, was it?
Yeah.
I knew,
unfortunately named Isaac, yeah.
He, I knew there was a lot of interest in him. Chris Conway apparently was obviously quite close to that. We talk all the time about players in OFLM. Apparently, he was messaging Luke Sefton on every week for about 3 or 4 seasons, trying to get him, throwing money at him, but it didn't quite work. And big Duncan Bonard, what was the actual deal there?
It was. Let me just look at Luke's team if I bring it up. He's doing great, by the way.
He is. I don't mention Luke very much. I kind of don't want to actually jinx him.
It was Duncan Bonard and Madeley I gave him. So I gave him 2 players. So he got a defender who he's obviously trained up and he looks a lot better now.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a lot. If you looked at it now, it's a lot better deal for him than it was for me.
But you had to
Madeley
get him.
wasn't as good as that because he obviously trains defenders.
With the situation in the game at the minute, what do you think is the best position to be training if you had the choice?
Oh, defenders, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the hardest ones to get the stats up. Midfielder's probably second, but obviously there's only one position for a goalkeeper, and the strikers just go up week by week by scoring goals anyway. So
yeah, they seem to.
Definitely defenders.
It's a hard one to defenders because you've got to invest the time in them to get them up to that level. And I mean, in lower divisions, it's much easier. So I mean, I've been struggling with trying to get them playing time, so get them out on loan for maybe half a season and then train them for the other half of the season. But it's a difficult one. If you've got the academy coach, and there's not that many defending coaches that are sort of over 20 rated. So yeah, it's. But then again, it's kind of like real life, I suppose. It's not that many quality defenders around at the minute.
Yeah, it would be a lot easier if I could loan out some of the better defenders, but we probably shouldn't talk about quality of staff, should we?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. We're only 14 minutes into this.
It makes it a lot easier to loan them out when people are getting. I mean, on the striker one, loaning out 30 rated strikers and 30 rated midfielders, and obviously they're playing every week and they're just going up and up and up, so it's a lot easier. But with the defenders, all of them loaning out is an 18 rated and a 22, and they barely move, maybe a point a season.
Yeah, I mean, I just I've been having a thought to myself actually, because I've had a few defenders that are kind of within that sort of 28, 29 rating, and it seems to me like they get to a point where if they're playing in a good team, they're not making that many key tackles. But if they're playing in a team that's, you know, struggling in division or mid-table team, they get more key tackles, and that's why obviously they get the more AB gains. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's simple really, but I hadn't really thought about it to that point. If you're going out and just getting a bit of training as well, then they can go up a little bit. But it takes them longer than the forwards and the midfielders. So yeah, oh well, one of them, innit? So yeah, we talked about your favourite players, but what about your favourite wins over your career?
It's pretty much any time I beat Milo, really.
Especially in the OFLM Cup final.
In the cup final, yeah, I did obviously the dirty tactic, locked it down, D for the whole match, and beat him on penalties on that.
Was that Big Duncan Bonard, wasn't it? Big Duncan Bonard again.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I think he probably had like 10 shots to my nil or something like that.
And then you sold him.
Yeah, that was his reward. Sold him the very next season.
Oh. I just can't believe you sold Duncan Bonard after that. But it had to be done.
Younger ones coming through, mate.
I'm still devastated by it. I like Jiminy Cricket in your ear.
Yeah. I'm sure Luke would take an offer on him now. He's getting a bit older now.
He is. Yeah. I'm definitely not going for him now. I don't need him. So rivals then, apart from obviously Milo, who obviously every time you play him, it's always quite a big deal.
Yeah.
What about some of your other rivals or some of the teams that you see coming up that have impressed you in the game?
Yeah, well, there's different types of rivals. Obviously, the people that are sort of geographically close by, like Mark Hongdon, your friend. You call him the Godfather, I believe.
The Godfather of OFLM.
I always, that's the Essex Derby for me, so I always want to win that one.
Yeah.
Let's go down. Always like playing Stuart Stanfield.
Yeah.
My whole midfield was pretty much based in his academy at one point. So
Stuart Stansfield loves a deal.
Yeah, he loves a deal.
He gets itchy if he can't do a deal. He gets itchy.
Yeah, you're right. He loves it.
He once goaded me into doing a deal with him.
I don't suppose it took much, Dan, did it?
It didn't. No. It was good fun though. What do you think about his team? Sorry. What do you think about Stuart and his team at the moment?
Let me have a look at it. He's always because it's always in transition. He's got some older players. He's got a good goalkeeper. His midfield's obviously always young and being trained, but it doesn't seem to manage to get it to peak out. So I think he maybe sells them too early or trades them too early. For the players he's had in his team, I mean, you can look at most of my midfield, and most of them came from there. He probably should have traded it up for some younger, 30-plus defenders that he hasn't got on there. Maybe even some strikers, which he seems to be lacking in as they're getting a bit older as well. But as you say, he just likes to trade. You get different people get different things out of it, don't they? As you say, Richard Gubby quite happily play 6-3-1-D every week, get a 0-0, get a 1-0 occasionally, and survive every season. Yeah. Maybe it's just Stuart likes doing the wheeling and dealing.
Yeah. So, what other managers in general that have do you think their philosophy or the way that they're playing the game will go down the divisions?
Okay, we'll go down. So we've done some of Division 1. Obviously, Chris Conway is pretty much identical to me, but he's probably just done it quite a bit better than I have.
Yeah.
He started at about the same time, but his team is just so far much better than me and so much more depth than me that he's probably going to dominate the game for about the next 10 seasons after this season.
It's pretty sickening, but at the same time, it's kind of the person who got me involved in playing OFLM.
Yeah.
And obviously I've known him very well. Spent many a night on shift talking about OFLM and stuff like that. But done a really good job actually of sorting that team out, because he sent me a screenshot of the team that he actually took over in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's just totally unrecognisable. It was a terrible team. And he just pulled out this old screenshot or printout that he had of it, and the team that he's got now is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of effort. It shows with a lot of effort and maybe some very big wheeling and dealing and constant messaging and annoying as many people as possible that you want their players.
Yeah, let me say that. He's not been as active recently in the last season or so. I think he's gone a bit quiet.
He doesn't need to be now.
No, he's got it already done, hasn't he? You're right, yeah.
I think the last piece of his jigsaw puzzle has just been made. St. Piran has just crested to 40 rated.
Yeah.
22-year-old goalkeeper at 40 rated. The deal was they would create St. Piran, the patron saint of Cornwall, as a 15-year-old 12 rated, loan to Gwilym John, your friend. Pay him 10 million a season to train him on intense on his own. And then over that time, he became an amazing goalkeeper. Played him every minute.
Yeah, the thing with Chris, I think he's probably the most Machiavellian person in the whole game. Because that deal you're talking about, I think he got that deal because he bought Gwil's keeper trainer for him, basically paid for it, and then obviously made him use him solely for the purpose of training his keeper up.
Yeah.
So if you've got that much money, you can do these sort of things.
That's right. And it worked out quite well for him.
Yeah, looking at his team, yeah. I'm surprised he's not had the best season this season. I was tipping him for the title straight away, and he's sort of mid-table.
Well, he's pulled my pants down because I thought he'd win it this year.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
But I thought that maybe, looking further forward, I thought that maybe it would be yourself, Chris, and then you've got like the likes of the older teams like mine, Milo's, Incredibles, Scrutlingtons, kind of making up the rest of the the teams going forwards. But yeah, I think give it a season. It's going to bound to happen. I'm just waiting for the charge to start, really.
Yeah, he'll be a new Incredibles and he'll just dominate for about 10 years in a row.
Yeah, cool.
That was a long time on Chris, wasn't it? That was a lot of fawning over him.
That's all right because Chris Conway, he's a quiet man. Really tried to get him on this really at one point, but I'd have to go out to his barn in the middle of nowhere in Cornwall. So still wait for that one, guys. Going on further down the divisions.
Further down, should we move on to Division 2? Because I could probably just talk about everyone in Division 1.
Could do, but we won't.
Okay, Division 2. We'll start at the top. Obviously, Luke, we've spoken a little bit about. Similar philosophy and just a generally nice guy.
He is. Fuming at the moment. When he in pre-season, had some problems in pre-season, I believe.
Well, didn't he have that word?
That word, yeah.
Cross, we call it. He might have had a few issues with that.
I think he might have got round him.
Oh, okay. He might have found a loophole, did he?
Not a loophole. I think he just kind of got on with it.
Well, that's kind of what we sort of all had to do. I think everyone's had a moan about it at some point, and then just realised that it's not going to change. You might as well just try and make your best of what you can with what you got.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Next team. Next
Go for
player.
it.
Who have we got? Division 2. You've got a Hopton in there. You're obviously friendly with them. We'll get on quite well.
Was supposed to go and play foot golf with Chris Hopton and Rob Mucklow this morning, early doors.
Rob Mucklow's one of yours as well, is it?
Well, he's Chris's cousin, and I've known him for a few years, like on and off, like see him out and about. But Chris Hopton, we're good mates with him, kind of got him involved in OFLM. Obviously, his brother Jason Hopton as well. Yeah. There's a few of them in there, but yeah, I mean, he's had a tough season so far in Division 2, but brilliant overachieved last season in Division 3, got himself up in the playoffs, and then he's just been having a go.
So when I joke and say it's OFLM is pretty much 50% Revolution and Friends, that's not actually a joke.
Well, it's nowhere near that. I mean, I think you've got to understand that there was when I first joined, Chris Conway kind of got me involved, and Chris is friends with Mark Condon, and we had Darren Wallace and Mike Lippett, who we've also worked with, and they were there to start with. And then Mark Arthur's got on bowl for a little while, and then he left. Kev Yao came on the scene, who's obviously another friend of Chris Conway's, who I've met as well. At one stage there was in a room or on a night out, or there was me, Chris Conway, Mark Condon, Darren Wallace, Mike Lippett, Kev Yao, all sort of there, sort of knowing each other. So it's like, and then obviously you got the Hoptons involved as well. So there's quite a few of us now, but I mean, there's not many of us left, to be fair. With Mike, Darren leaving, Mark Arthur's leaving. There's a few. Not
Still
quite 50%.
Plenty enough for your little sort of back alley deals, I'm sure.
These back alley deals that are just.
I reckon. I always suspect a secret society where Chris Conway's running it. How best to squeeze the best out of everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that team, I don't think it really needs anymore, does it?
No, he's done it. He's all right now.
Yeah.
Moving down. Chris Brannan. The likeable Chris Brannan.
Oh, he's a legend, isn't he? Oh, I'll tell you what, that boy.
Well, he's my canary down the well, really. I know, but,
brilliant. Absolutely grow. Oh, it's comedy gold, isn't it?
Yeah, he's at that level of arsehole that I know that if I'm okay, I'm not getting banned for what I'm doing if he's still in the game. Because he's pushing the limits and I'm below. So as long as he's still in the game, I know I'm all right. So yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
It's entertaining.
he is very
He
entertaining.
gets a reaction out of people as well, which they're probably better off just ignoring, really.
Do you know what the funniest thing is that like between the sort of week 20 to 30, you're just dying for something to be said, aren't you?
Yeah, and he's usually good for 2 cents. He's sort of like a more aggressive AD.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He's kind of typing before he's thinking, isn't he? Really, and he's
got no filter. I've always got time for someone who basically just doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks.
I think that's good. In this world, I think it's quite good actually because it's yeah, it kind of shows a bit of passion, bit of drive. Actually, to be fair, I mean, like, I've taken that aside from him, his team, Vasco Veterans, when he first took it over, was an absolute mess.
Yeah.
He's doing the defender thing, and he's actually doing quite well. He's in the playoffs, I believe.
He's actually building his team quite well, to be fair.
He's got some loans in that defended position. That's kind of keeping him his solid base, while underneath that he's got his defenders sort of developing and the rest of his team's okay. So yeah, I could see that being give it a season, maybe 2, and he'll be looking to Division 2 then maybe. So yeah, he's all right. He's in there.
He's in there. Division 4 we got down there. Should we talk about? We got OFLM's greatest ever legend, Joe Foley. Can we have a sentence or two about him?
Joe Foley, eh?
Well, wow. It's not his fault really, but it was given such a big fanfare when he came back. There was a whole comedy thing where it's practically fireworks going off as he entered the room, and then he just walked out after one game.
Yeah, I
and
kind of
came back a week later.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was kind of. That might have been kind of to do with me actually. We were trying to do a deal, but it was a little bit of a nuts deal because he needed a goalkeeper.
Right.
So yeah, we were trying to do a deal with a goalkeeper. My second choice was Jory that I bought off of you. So I basically bought him and then realised that maybe it might be time to cash in. So I went in with an offer for this goalkeeper, not really expecting it to be accepted or it's a bit of negotiation to be done. And it came back that he wanted to do the deal. I think it was for a defender and a forward, or that's no longer there. But it got sort of rejected, which I did say to him, I think it might, mate. So we might have to negotiate a little bit more. But then he kind of left that situation and ended up at Duckler, which has worked out quite well for him. He's kind of keeping himself to himself at the minute.
Yeah.
He's got a goalkeeper there to develop. I think Duckler actually do have a goalkeeping coach. So yeah, that might be something for him to build.
Yeah, he seems to be doing all right. He's in mid-table, just below the playoffs, so he might just scrape in there.
That's right. Close one.
Who else we got? We got my friend Adi. We've had a few sort of rows with him.
Yeah, I think Adi would have thought that he could have done better this season.
Well, you've hardly heard from him, so that probably tells you how well he's doing.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate.
Has he been unfortunate?
Well,
I'm staring a little bit.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean it's come down to defenders, doesn't it? I think he struggled to get defenders in the off season.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of paying the price as the season goes on. The 2 defenders that he's got, and especially in Division 4, the gains just are so bad. I mean, obviously we're quite fortunate in Division 1. We get used to good gains, but Division 4 gains.
Well, not if you're playing Olympic Milan.
Oh yeah, but you never know when you might just come up with some weird tactic to try and comprehend Gubby's code.
Yeah.
6-2-1-1 long ball, change it to D if he goes 1-0 up. And you still know what he's going to do, but you just can't do anything about it.
And the gains are probably a lot worse in Division 4.
Yeah, that's right. So now he's going to have to address the defence if he's going to push on.
Go on, yeah. I mean, he's not really got anybody worth selling or exchanging. Maybe a midfielder there. That's about it. So it's going to be tough for him to get that team into Division 3.
It's going to take a while. The problem that I see there is it's an aging team in regards to the goalkeeper and a couple of midfield. Lechkov's got to go. and you're looking at lone players really have done him a service. That Hume's got injured, Madonna's up front banging the goals in, but not much really to trade off and work with. You've got 3 years left on your coach, 3 seasons even.
Yep.
But other than that, you've got Hawksby and Multisanti, the defenders, and even if he sells them, then what's he got coming in? What can he get off the no club list? Because not many managers are selling defenders at the minute. So catch 22.
No one is, are they? No.
It's catch 22, isn't it? So, well, if they are, then you'll be buying them, won't you?
Yeah, but I'll try.
And you got
I'm
your
no Chris
coffers.
Conway, but I'll try.
Coffers are full at the minute. I don't think they're as full as Chris Conway when he had but I think they're quite full from all these.
Yeah.
All these.
There's some money there.
There's some there, yeah.
Yeah.
I sometimes surmise how much some of you boys have got stuffed away in the bank.
Well, yours is all invested in these old boys, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's all invested in the old gold.
By the time they get 40, you might sell them on them.
You never know. Well, they get to 39 maybe.
I'm looking at your team. You're not a bit worried you might end up doing a Milan when those main 4 defenders start declining, those main 3 midfielders start declining?
You gotta understand sometimes that there's a plan there. They just don't know what it is yet, and are not willing to divulge it. Now, we've got.
There is a plan. I can see a plan. You've got plenty of players out on
There's
loan.
there's some big deals that have been done that I started working on about 6 or 7 weeks ago.
Wait. There's some big deals going down, and you didn't even consider offering me any.
Well, this is the thing, you see, because you've got to look outside of the little bubble that is Division 1 and try and come up with something that's going to work.
Clique.
Yes. Going to try and work. So, we've got a new striker coming in. We've got another midfielder coming in that's kind of in that sort of bracket of sort of around the 29-30 rated mark. Who's about mid sort of 23, 24 years old. And we've got to persevere again with these defenders, the 23, 24-year-old, 22-year-olds that are out on loan this season. And maybe accept that this will be the last season, the next season will be the last season for the old gold, like the defenders especially. When they're 35, they'll drop to about 34, 35 rated anyway. But their secondary stats will be there. Our mix-in Red Sox will be playing every week. So this season he has played a bit, but not as much as I would have liked him to. We've got a player coming in on loan from Chris, who's going to go into the defence that was going to be around 33, 34 rated as well. So we've got some defenders there. And our other loans will be obviously defenders that we're training for other positions. So we've got a plan. Some of our other midfielders are coming. The 37-year-old 37 rated Garcia is only 24 years old. He'll be probably 38 rated by the end of the season. He'll come in midfield. I could go on about us for ages, but I don't really want to. So it's all there. There's a plan. Just wait and see. But certain to see that there'll be a few of them being shot soon to the no club list. I'm pretty sure.
The misery, yeah.
Yeah. So,
okay, who else have we got? In Division 4, well, we got David Stone, the man with the roundest face in all of OFLM.
He's got such a round face.
It's perfectly round.
It's good,
hold him up against the sun and just to see if it's one of those perfect eclipses with just the aura coming around.
Yeah. No, he's. I think it's been like the week 20 to 30. You just don't get anything on the forums really.
Exactly, and you definitely need people like him.
Exactly, and having a bit of a laugh and a joke, but also like some of the things that come out, like the randomness of it.
Yeah, like he likes talking about his penis a lot, I
find. Yeah, but I don't begrudge him having a bit of a laugh. To be fair, so
absolutely,
it's better than sort of. Seeing those forums just barren from sort of like the end of the season job, and then all waiting for the countdown to the start of the next season. But so I think we kind of covered some of the managers there.
We picked out. I mean, obviously we can't really talk about you and your team too much.
Oh God, we've already talked too much about that. I bet it's 3 or 4 minutes talking about that.
A little bit awkward.
Yeah.
There's plenty there. Let's just give you some shout outs. I'll start from the top. Chick Suter.
Yeah.
Oldest man in OFLM.
I love it when he has a meltdown sometimes. It goes a bit nuts.
It does occasionally. He's a very nice guy.
Oh,
Really
he's
talking to
brilliant.
him.
Yeah, I just love it when he sometimes goes a bit nuts and that. But it's brilliant. I love it.
Yep, completely agree. Let's move down. Richard Gubby. Obviously, I've talked a bit about it, taken the mickey a bit, but without him here, then we wouldn't be playing the game or even talking right now, would we? So,
No.
fair play to him. Ben Walker, the tax man. You know, he's not really vocal, but whenever there's some new rule or tax to be added, he's straight in there.
Yeah.
You can all thank him for the 5% tax we pay every time we buy a player now.
Well, is it not going to go up? Is it again?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's probably going to. I think he's up to 5.75 now.
Oh, flipping out! Oh dear.
just to take a little bit more money from you.
Oh well.
Simon Hallows, he's an entertainer as well. Always one to have a go at me though whenever the chance arises. So he always is a popular man with me.
Yeah, it's always good to see that.
And Ray Wallace, always done a deal here and there or a loan here and there with him.
Yeah, he's a good manager actually.
Kevin Yao, nice guy again. One of yours.
No, yeah, he's a good lad. It's Kev Yao.
Yep. Colin Skinner, every now and then has a mid-season sort of tantrum, threatens to leave, but always hangs in there and doing a pretty good job at Lewes.
Loves Lewes Fireflies. Won't admit it, but he loves it. And yeah, he'll carry on playing. And you just got to. The thing is with Colin, right? Is the team that he's doing training defenders? Great, because that's that position that needs to be sort of persevered with. And if you do get those defenders, then you can sell them on for other players in other positions. He's just got to keep doing what he's doing and bide his time. You know, good win this week. I think he beat Dragons. Yeah, he should beat Yao's team, and he's capable of upsetting anyone in that division. Give it a season, 2 seasons, those defenders that are kind of around the 24, 25, 26 rated. You know, it's going to be sort of looking much more positive. Trade off, maybe get a goalkeeper in.
Well, that's it. It's
easy, isn't it?
Said about a million times. The most important position is the goalkeeper, and at 24 rated, his current one, that's really not going to cut it. That's not going to get him in Division 1 or surviving in Division 1 if he did get there.
I think my only criticism with Colin is that sometimes he's got to put himself out there, stick his neck out to do a deal. If he's, and that's not in that way. I mean, sometimes his inactivity can kind of let him down because the number of times where a player's been, I've transfer listed a player or something like that, and there's been a bit of interest but never a firm, concrete offer. Instead of just going in and saying, right, I want to bid for this player. Sometimes some managers can miss out. So I think he's just been a bit unlucky in that regard on a few occasions. Yeah,
I think he might be the opposite of Chris Conway, who will just hammer people to the ground until they give in to his demands, and Colin's a little bit more quiet in that respect.
Yeah, but again, he's building. Got Colin Skinner up front as well.
Yeah. Anyone who's narcissistic enough to put their own name in there is fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I can
Wouldn't know anyone like that.
Doco, I like Doco. I mean, he's probably not the most literate person or the most calm person, shall we say. He can lose his rag quite easily, but he can be entertaining as well.
Yeah, and he loves a deal. He did in the early days when I first joined the tower.
Oh, he still does. He messages me every time he needs a bit of cash. He'll message me saying, "Do you fancy buying this player?" And any time I just randomly buy a player from him for 10 million or so, and it's just a young player that I don't particularly need, and just send out on loan. That's because he needs a bit of cash to do a deal somewhere else.
Yeah. No, he's always thinking. Previously loved old gold more than I did.
Oh yeah, Milo built his whole team on getting all of Andy's young players in exchange for Milo's older players.
Do you remember when Matt Graham left Anfield Ducks and he took it over, Doco took it over, and it was like, here's the next second coming of Anfield Ducks, and he went out and he bought all the 40 rated or 39 rated older players that he could to try and win that Division 1 title.
And he had them. He had them all. He had 40 in every position I think it was for a 4-4-2, like the first person to ever do that.
Yeah.
And gets into the season. I think he finished about 7th that year.
It was crazy because it was almost a case of like, even if and it shows tactically, you can have the best players in the game with the best secondary stats, and you can still, you can still lose, and you can still not win the league. It's just not. It's
that
not
was a good
straightforward.
experiment of it. Absolutely.
We got to see that, so
Yeah.
unfortunate for Doco. He's not the only one who struggled in Division One on that. Come a cropper towards the end of the season. But yeah. So another thing I'd like to ask you is, I know this might be a bit controversial, but we might as well do it because 40 minutes in. Um,
Okay.
OFLM wish list. If we could, or you, if there was an opportunity to expand the game in some way or change something, what would be the thing that you would like to see?
Um, well, I mean, there's all the minor sort of grievances first. We get out of the way. I mean, they're not the worst thing in the world, but okay. Should we start? Well, we'll leave cost. We'll leave cost to the last.
Leave it out. Yeah. To last, yeah.
Contract negotiations. That is probably one of the most annoying things because you can literally click a player, haven't clicked on him for a couple of seasons because he's had a long contract. You get one failed negotiation and then he's locked.
Yeah.
And it doesn't unlock after 24 hours. I think I'd just get rid of that. I'd just leave it open all the time. And that probably won't be popular, but that would just make it save Kerry a lot of time as well because I must message him like, I don't know, 10, 15 times a season to ask him to unlock players. And I'm sure that he'd rather be doing something else than doing that.
Yeah, definitely. I just really frustrates me on the occasions where it happens more regularly now, and I'm not even sure what triggers it. But when you go to renew it for the first time and it just goes, it's locked straight away, or it's like a transfer. You're doing a transfer and it's locked straight away, and you're like, what? I haven't even offered you anything yet, and you're locked in a room for 24 hours with me. Like, what?
Yes, God, you don't, and it doesn't come back after 24 hours either.
No. But sometimes it says negotiations. Oh, you wait 24 hours, and it does say sometimes negotiations unlocked, and you think get in, and then you go to the next one.
1 in 20 shot. Yeah, absolutely.
So negotiations locked for 24 hours. That'd be the first one.
That would be the first thing. I'll just leave it all open so that doesn't possible, if that's even possible to do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, love the game as it is. Just those sort of minor grievances like that. What else? Not a fan of the caretaker managers, I have to say.
No. What would you do?
Well, I'd honestly just keep them open until someone takes it. Just play default 4-4-2 every week with them, if that's easy enough. I mean, if it's a case where Kerry's literally manually doing every team, then fair enough, caretakers are fine.
It must be a lot of work though for one person to be sort of submitting. So like to sort of delegate it out for the time being. But I think that there should be a way where we can sort of, well, those teams can be sort of divvied out to new managers, because I'm sure there'll be people that want to join.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, if you wanted, say you wanted your friends to come in, there's no way to just click on a team and click, apply for a job because every team is taken.
And what about the join feature at the top? Is that something that works? Like you click on it and it's a join.
Obviously it does, but you need to. I think you need to select a club to manage, and there's obviously nothing there.
Yeah, good point.
So I don't know. I'm not doing it in case I end up with a new team. I've been here a long time.
No, you don't want a new team.
No, I'm stick with mine.
You still want to have that one club manager tag.
Absolutely, all the way.
All the way. Yeah. Wow, good. What do you think about scouting?
Scouting, don't. We're just going negatives. There's lots of things I like about the game. I don't like scouting. I think that's ruined the transfer market for the lower division teams because the base minimum now is a 22 rated player because you can just get them for face value off the transfer market.
Okay.
So all those teams with like less than 20 rated players, they're not going to get any value of that. Minimum fee at best.
Yeah.
So it's a case of just buying stuff off the transfer market, off the free transfer market, and trading around like that.
Yeah, I mean.
Whereas before, I might have offered, say, for a 15 rated player, if it wasn't so rare for a 16-year-old, and you'd offer a lot of money. But because there's the base minimum is 22, it's just a lot harder for those teams to trade and build on what they got.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, spending a bit of time in those lower echelons with various projects, it can be. You look around at the no club list, and you've got that sort of base mark, like you say, and it's a difficult one. If scouting can sometimes find you a rare gem, but predominantly it's goalkeepers they seem to find. I find.
Yeah. Well, I think most of almost about half of Olympic Milan, well, almost all of their transfers this season have become from the scouting list. So they're filling up with 30 rated 22 players, getting up to 23, 24.
Yeah.
You look at their team, he loves playing with it. So some people like it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lower divisions, I think it's the way. If you difficult, but if you've somehow got lots of money down there and you need recruitment, and might be worth taking the shot. But I mean, if you're looking at 22, 23, 24 rated defenders all of a sudden being found, which has happened quite a few times over the last few seasons, all of a sudden, those defenders because they're in demand.
Yeah.
You find a 26-year-old, 22, 23 rated defender all of a sudden. It's not bad for your Division 3-4 club, but whether you can afford to actually scout and sign that player in the first instance is up to you, and it's if you can afford it. But anyway, those things might be towards what you change. But what things do you find that are actually good about OFLM? That's the reason why you log on every week. The reason why you're playing it.
Okay, well, the training for starters. That's fun. Watching your players grow, I do like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's such a long-term project that it, I think started it about 10 years ago, and you just keep moving and moving, trading and training. And I love seeing a player go from that base of 15 to 12 to say a 23 or 24 rated to 40, just building them up and maxing them out.
That's right. Yeah.
The actual community itself is probably the best thing about the game. Because of a small group of 64 or 60 or whatever it is at the moment, everyone gets to know each other well. You kind of know how to get under each other's skins. You can have a laugh. I guess that's the best part of it. And what else? The actual games themselves, I guess, because I like the detail when you finish a game, and I like the video printer basically service watch as you go. So, and as you know, we're all in a chat room having a bit banter and a bit of a joke, and then one of us will end up in a sub because we lost when we shouldn't have, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like this week.
Losing to Anfield Ducks is quite a painful one, isn't it?
Daniel Perry's done me over there. He's absolutely nailing the coffin of the tower this season. Fair play though, he had to do it. Defensive.
Yeah. He's done really well. I slated caretaker managers, but he's done really well at Anfield. He's all transformed them. They were guaranteed to go down when he took them over, and now he's 3 points clear.
Yeah, I think he's going to avoid the drop, but long term, Anfield Ducks, they might be struggling.
They're definitely struggling.
Depends how much money they've got in the bank account.
Look at their team. It's
I've looked already. I don't want to look again how depressed I lost to that team.
Even you would turn your nose up at any of those players.
Even me.
Yeah, even you would say that's not gold.
It wasn't what I was saying on Thursday. I was not happy on Thursday. I'll tell you that. I was just like, oh, this is just a joke. But it has.
How do you sulk about it? Do you go off on one, or do you just go quiet?
Well,
would you threaten to quit like Milo did?
I actually, this week I was actually watching a film with my missus, and I've got I'll have it on because we're watching a film on the laptop, and so I'm there watching this particular film, and I've got my phone by my side, and I've just left the phone on the side, the screen's on, and it's kind of video printers going off on one side. She's used to it by now. She obviously says, "You watch that effing screen again?" That's it. It's Thursday night, babe. Only half an hour, Thursday night. And it's there going off, and I'm like, I can't believe it. And she's just like, what? It's just, I said, and she knows by now, like, is the other manager playing defensive against you? She's like, because it's been years of me just like fuming, like, so she's used to.
That's a woman who's had to listen to you moan for quite a few seasons, I guess.
Yeah, so I just turned the phone off and just carry on watching the film. As soon as I went 1-0 down, I just knew where it was going. So the phone went off, and I carried on watching the film. It's a quite good film, actually. So I kind of let it go. But when I looked at it again, I looked at the result after the next day when she went out. But I was fuming, absolutely fuming with myself. Like, you know, you have that sort of feeling of like, oh, dejection, like you've just been saved the week before when Sam Brown doesn't submit a team,
Yeah.
and your fitness is all screwed because you forgot to do it, and you've got all your players back 100% fitness, and you think, I've got a chance, and then you go and balls it up away from home.
Absolutely. Well, you say you ballsed it up. I think the code got involved there. I think he had one shot on target to your three.
Yeah.
I think we've all moaned about the code now. We all doubted, the big guy early on, but as you see it going on, Chris had it early. I've certainly had it over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Felt it, but it just feels like there's some sort of hidden chemistry or hidden momentum in the actual code of the game that seems to build up. I'm taking about 20 shots to score a goal lately, so
Mike Bonard keeps missing the target.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're paying him too much.
Or not enough, maybe.
Maybe not enough. But yeah, so yeah, I just it's going to be interesting. Like 7 weeks to go, or was it 6 or 7 weeks or 6 weeks?
7 to go. Yeah,
7 to go.
You're still in the race. Perfect to somehow come back in the race. Milo's never out of it.
Never out of it. He's still
and
in it.
Edmonds is right there behind me.
Yeah. I just wanted to have a look at some of the other divisions actually while we're here.
Okay.
Looks like Luke Sefton's going up.
Yeah, he's got that already. But you would expect that with his team he's got.
Ray Wallace is overachieving. Brilliant. 50 points. He looks like he's going to get automatic. 7 points clear of Spartak. There's a real battle going on in the playoffs there.
I think there's up to 8, down to 8th, isn't it? Really, I think Colin's just about going to miss out. 6 points behind with 7 to play. I don't think he'll make that up.
Yeah. Division 3. Going to be all about wins that league, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the top 2 are going up. Kerry's done his job there. Always one of the lowest scorers in the league, but always the tightest defence in the league.
Oh yeah, does the job.
Yep.
Dudley Dragons are a team that have scored 115 goals.
Yeah, I like it. Any team that does that is worthy of going up.
Yeah, agreed. And then you've got the sort of group, the cluster of teams from. It's quite close, really. I mean, Rob Saxton's doing a worldie in for Dubai, but could fall away.
That guy's overrated.
Massively. You got Vasco Brothers, Palace are all in there, and then you've got even the lower ones as well. Like, oh God, all the way down.
Even right down to about 12th could still make it.
Yeah, that's a great division to be in. Lots to play for. Oh, look at this Division 4 Aussie built. Who would have blast from the past there?
I don't even know who manages them these days. Oh, it's David Gerard. He's a very quiet chap, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't think he really comments very much on the forums, but yeah, well, they're there.
And Rob Newman's doing very well.
Got the good goalkeeper, if I remember rightly.
Always helps, doesn't it?
Always helps there.
And I think everybody's favourites down there was WBA. They're thereabouts, just 3 points off going up.
Yeah, I'm definite playoff contenders. Whether they can just sort of have the next sort of training strikers now. Obviously, they sold Danny Marks, but they got in Stelios, which is a great signing. Actually, thinking about it now, looking like he's going to be a very good player for them in future seasons. So whether he can come good now in the next sort of 7 weeks and get that automatic place, it's going to come down to. It's going to be very close there, one way or the other. But I definitely think playoffs. Them and Seven Sisters, very good teams.
Who's your tip for the wooden spoon?
I think Mr. Stone might squeak, as in with a squeak. Yeah, I'll say Dave. Wooden spoon.
He won't mind that. So.
It's Solent City. They're currently bottom.
Yeah, the caretaker manager.
But they've got Mr. Wallace as the caretaker.
Yeah.
And if anyone can get them out of their mire that they're in, it's Mr. Wallace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah, there we go.
Mate, we've been going for almost an hour.
I know. We
could probably talk for hours, just chewing the fat, talking shit all night.
You could do. 54 minutes in we are at a minute on this.
Right.
So
I was expecting like a 20-minute quick chat, make it nice, bright and breezy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to listen too much to my Essex accent.
So, when you watch OFLM, the results coming in, are you doing it on the move? Are you got your iPhone or your futuristic phone that you're moving
Yeah, well,
around with?
Thursday nights is pool night for me, so I always have it on in the pub,
Get on.
and just keep refreshing, and then check out how the teams I loan to are doing, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Till he comes in, and then usually late at night when I get home, have a little bit of a whinge when we lose, and a bit of a gloat when we win.
Do you I was going to say, do you come from the sort of school of the spreadsheet? Do you do any of that sort of stuff anymore? Or?
No, they've been totally misrepresented. I think mostly by you. No, not at all. Not one bit of it. No. I can look at it and I can see what's happened. I don't need a spreadsheet.
No. As some of them love doing the old gains over a season. I've seen a few of these spreadsheets knocking about from the old Excel wizards.
All right.
But yeah, I actually couldn't get into it, so I'll just wait to the end of the season and then take a screenshot at one end of the season when all the players are there, and then when they all come back again, I'll look at another one and I'll work it out myself and say, oh, he's done all right. Oh, he's not done so well. I might have to sell that one.
Yeah, I'm always at the end of the season. I always take a screenshot in case something random happens on the updates, and you end up losing several players or they just disappear for whatever reason.
All right, and how is that? Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever come into a cropper?
No, I've not lost any players due to any sort of contract issues. I know other people have. You've had it, haven't you?
Oh yeah, but that kind of was that's one of them things that happened. Sort of, it's an unfortunate set of circumstances befit me. So it was quite a few years ago now. But yeah, I lost Mitch.
Oh,
yeah,
that hurt, didn't it?
That was like a gut punch. That really hit me, set me back forwards wise, because he would have been first team by now. But yeah. Never do buyback deals with people on OFLM. Yeah. You have been warned, people. Do not do it.
Always check your contracts.
Do not do it. So yeah, we learn our lesson there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're 56 minutes in now.
Okay.
So this is the part where we finish with the dreaded word.
Okay.
the dreaded QoS, quality of staff.
Well, I don't like it, obviously. I don't think many people do. I understand why it is in there, because people will take advantage of the situation, let's put it that way. Just see it, maybe some of the, if you've been in the game X amount of time, you should be given a little bit more leeway. I mean, I've got several players on my team you look at my midfield, you only play three midfielders pretty much every week, and then the other three have played 5 games or 4 games, and so they're not going absolutely anywhere, where they could have either done somebody else a favour, loaned them out, and actually gone up a bit.
Yeah, it's a tough one, because you're in that situation where you've got players that are they're just slightly too low for the division you're in.
Yeah.
But they would be awesome in the second division.
Yeah, 2 or even 3.
And that's why I think that, this is another reason why I've kept a few of the old gold for so long, is because that then will allow me to develop some of the other players.
Yes, that is.
And that's the only real plus point of having the old gold, because they stay higher rated for longer until they change, or until the game changes in that regard of older players dropping faster. Yep. But I think that's already been addressed from sort of the ages of 34 onwards. They drop a lot faster.
Yeah.
But in those early sort of periods between the sort of age of 31 to 33, 34, you can get by. But after that 34, 35, 36, they drop a lot. There's a guy I've got, I'm sorry to go on about my team, but 35-year-old, 37 rated midfielder that's currently at AC Koulios. That's just crazy.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely.
That guy will drop.
You are getting him back before the season ends, I hope, so you can either sell into the league, because he's going to go down to about 33, 32.
Or I do a deal before the end of the season, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to agree a deal, a bit like what Ben Walker did with Vin Blocker last season with Kerry. Try and find someone who will pay for just over his minimum value.
Yeah.
So, his minimum value is probably about 22.5, maybe 23 million. So if anyone drops me anything over 23 million, I'm going to sell him. So the season after, but
I'd assume Quas would allow that, even if he was still in your top 6.
He won't be in my top 6.
Oh, okay, no, he won't. Yeah,
no, he's well outside, so he'll be gone.
He'll be gone at anything. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a difficult one because if you get players that are on that catch-22, they're especially higher divisions. I mean, Incredibles at it, where they got that. They're the Bremner, I think it was. God, I got crazy memory for OFLM player names. 29, 30 rated player that was like kind of on the fringes of their sixth best player, but if they loaned him out, they could have got, he could have been much, much higher rated, and they could have got someone off the no club list maybe that was like, I don't know, 24, 25 rater, but quality of staff is what it is, isn't it? So it does sort of have a.
It's not going to change. There's almost no point getting involved in it anymore.
No. Maybe like trying to plan for that eventuality is the way to go, though.
Yep.
Looking at it and going, right, well, maybe my players are going to increase or decrease by this amount. Can I work around it?
Yep.
I mean, the hardest one for me to take was when the one I didn't get really was when we had Chris Conway had a defender issue where he had two players that were rated the same. So from his sixth and seventh defenders were the same rating, but one had a little bit more higher secondary stats, I think.
Yeah.
So it was like a case of, well, sell one or the other, Chris thought, but no, he had to sell the one, or he had to loan out, the one that was
just seventh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wait a week until that defender went up to a rating above, and then sell the one who had the better secondary stats, or loan the one out, that had better secondary stats, but I had to wait a week. So it was a strange one, but yeah. This quality of staff then.
Yeah.
There you go. Can't finish on that.
We don't really want to talk about it, but you can tell.
You can tell.
It's not popular, but you just don't want to sort of, don't want to start that argument again.
No. But you always finish with it though. At least we've mentioned it. We've mentioned it, so we're all right with it.
I guarantee at the start of the season, someone will mention it on the forums.
Yeah. Well, they're bound to. It's hard. I think sometimes in the lower divisions, and I imagine if you had limited players, it could be quite difficult.
Yeah,
but I did like it when I obviously I spoke to Kerry on Skype and stuff. And it was good that they had like your older players that you kind of like are getting over the hill now. Chairman will basically say, like the way that Kerry put it was, chairman will want those players. Those are your better players, but they need to go because they're older. So we may take a lesser fee.
Yes.
So fee-wise, it might be below minimum value.
Yeah.
Or base value.
Well, I think it was AD who had that exact issue where he got an offer for an older player that was exact value.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. The system didn't allow it,
yeah.
And he ended up having to sell that player to a league for a lot less than he was worth for the minimum fee.
Yeah. So
perhaps it could be worked a little bit better for them guys, especially in the lower division.
Yeah. Cool. Well, covered it now. That's it.
Okay.
Cool. Nice one. Well,
that was long.
It was long, but we're there. 1 hour and all. 1 hour.
I think we name checked enough people for just to So.
I wonder if anyone will actually listen to this for over an hour.
Fair play to you. I salute you.
If anyone listens to this for over an hour, I'll be amazed.
If anyone listens to my stupid, dippy Essex accent for an hour, then fair play to you.
Cool. Well, Mike Bonard, you've been on OFLM. I will finish that there.